Pursuing Calamity. Please flee with all your might when everything familiar becomes dangerous and alien. An uneasy atmosphere shrouds the thermal plant, seeps into my skin and flows through my veins. Of course, I'm not about to sit idly and wait for doom to come. My own alarm bell has been sounding, pushing me to prepare in advance. I go and dial Groza. The comm connects at last. I cannot help but feel relief seeing her familiar face.
つまり、最近人形コミュニティのメンバーたちの様子が変と。
Groza frowns slightly on the screen.
ええ、話し方とか動きとか今までとは全部違う。強いて共通点を挙げるとしたら、こうまるでダミー人形のように反応が鈍いみたいな。
ダミー人形。メンテナンスのことについて最近ロザリンさんともよく話している。発電所では資源が不足しているけど、素体のメンテナンスだけはしっかりやっている。人形の稼働はコミュニティの生命線だから、資源は全部メンテナンスに優先的に回されるわ。たとえ全体の稼働数を減らしてでも、稼働中の人形の機能は万全を期すはずよ。だからそういう問題は基本起こらないと思うけど。
素体の異常は考えられないということか。ロザリンとバチルダたちは大丈夫？
すべて正常よ。
やっぱり問題は発電所の中ね。念のためにロザリンとバチルダの様子にも注意して。
わかった。
Groza hesitates for a moment.
今、指揮官の周りは安全なの？
そうね。
I recall that awkward conversation with Ulrich and how she returned to her normal self afterwards. As for everyone else...
ヘレンもコルフェンも、ひょっとしたら。
待って、ちょっと変わって。指揮官、聞こえてますか？そっちで何か起きてる？増援を送った方がいいですか？
今はまだ大丈夫よ。でもそのうち助けが必要になるかもしれない。
指揮官がそう言うなら。
現状、人形コミュニティの異常の原因はまだわからない。念のため即応隊を準備する必要がある。もちろんエルモ号の防衛もおろそかにするわけにはいかない。そこでグローザとアルバの小隊はエルモ号の防衛、即応隊は来るかい。あなたの小隊に任せたいと思っている。
問題ありません。404、いつでも行けます。
後で緊急連絡用のチャンネルを作るわ。そこでの指示に従って動いて。
了解。
After ending the call, I sit back down and let out a lengthy sigh, exhaling some of the tension and unease that's been building up in me over the past few days. The steadfast and reassuring voices of my dolls linger in my ears. I steady myself, then pick up the communicator and patch into another channel. The call goes through and Ulrich appears on the screen.
指揮官か。どうかしたか？
実はこの間話した交易の件についてもっといい案を思いついた。
If everyone around has been affected...
そうか。では配置をしてみよう。
Words flow flow from my mouth, yet my mind is racing in another direction. Ulrid knows everyone more than I do. If anything happened to the doll community, she couldn't be the last one to notice, nor would she be greeting me with a full smile as if nothing's wrong.
そうだな。確かにその方がいいかもしれない。指揮官、通話では詳しく話せないことも多い。一度会って話さないか？
どこで？
中庭にしよう。リッタラも連れて行く。2時間後でいいか？こちらもまだ用事があるんだ。
On the screen, Ulrich checks her terminal, as if genuinely trying to find time in her schedule for our meeting.
わかった。じゃあ、また後で。
The call ends. The screen goes dark, reflecting my tense expression. I have less than 2 hours left. My fingers glide across the screen, entering a series of commands into the emergency frequency. With my other hand, I grab my gear and put it on. Finally, I retrieve a compact handgun from the drawer, load the magazine, and hear the solid thunk of the slide as a round is chambered. Alas, at the same time, I hear the door open behind me.
指揮官、どこに行くのですか？
Helen stands at the doorway, blocking the light behind her. Her voice sounds upbeat, but her expression is obscured in shadow. My chest tightens slightly.
ウルリドと約束があるから、ちょっと行ってくる。
I find my composure and walk toward the door, stopping in front of her. She's still smiling, but there's no warmth behind that smile.
少しどいてもらってもいい？
Helen watches me with those cold, smirking eyes for a moment, then steps aside. I brace myself for any possibilities now. Looks like my earlier estimation of the timeline has been too optimistic.
そうだ、ヘレン。ウルリドと打ち合わせをしている間は、コルフェンと一緒に模擬戦の準備をして。資料は引き出しの中に置いてあるわ。
それはいいのですが。
Helen's voice brushes against my ear as I walk past her. But as I step out of the room, I'm met with a different pair of eyes. A doll stands in the direction I'm heading, blocking the hallway. Her face is completely expressionless.
ウルリド？
指揮官、約束の時間は2時間後のはずだが。
The emptiness in her eyes steals my breath. Realizing whoever's behind all this is fully ready to drop their act, I immediately turn around and sprint in the opposite direction.
指揮官、どこに行くのですか？
I glance back and see Helen and Ulrid already in pursuit. There's no way for a human to outpace dolls. I know that very well, which is why I need to make use of the terrain and elevations.
指揮官、こっちだ。
I knock over some cabinets along the corridor, trying to create obstacles for my pursuers. Soon I hear the sound of metal sheets being cut open behind me. This won't work. I topple another cabinet by the corner and route into a different hallway with glass windows. Getting down from this height shouldn't be a problem, especially when I have a rope descender.
一か八か。
No time to think things through. I must act now. I shove open the rusted window and activate the device secured to my waist. A hook shoots out, latching onto the window frame and automatically tightening the rope. Just as I climb out the window, I spot the obstacle I had created crumble under a storm of blinding flashes. Right as Ulrich emerges from the dust and debris, I hold onto the rope and swing down 2 floors, using my legs to crash through the window. I hit the ground rolling, glass shards crunching beneath me. The glass unavoidably cuts up my face, but there's no time to worry about that. I get up and rush toward the emergency exit. Just as I reach for the doorknob, I stop, realizing the door is already open with a crack, and through it, a dark muzzle is pointed straight at my forehead.
人間の分際でやるじゃない。
The door opens and Helen walks out. Each step carries an unfamiliar pressure that forces me backward.
さすがに人形にはかなわないか。あなたたちは誰？本物のヘレンとウルリド、それから他の人形たちはどこに？
人間に答える義理はないわ。特にあんたなんかには。
Helen's pupils contract slightly, her smile tinged with restrained fury.
どこかで会ったことあるの？そんなに嫌われるようなことをしたかしら？
嫌われるようなこと。あんたのせいで、私たちは、あんたは私たちの敵よ。
悪いけど、もっとわかりやすく言ってくれないと。
あんたがわかる必要はない。
With Ulrich's blade pressed against my back and Helen closing in, countless thoughts flash through my head. They don't seem intent on killing me, but rather just capturing me. Considering the disparity in our strength, faking a surrender now is the best course of action. But will my capture be used as a trap to lure in my dolls? Just as Helen is about to restrain me, bullets whistle through the air. She instinctively shuffles back to evade, but the shockwave still makes her stumble.
指揮官、しっかり掴んでてくれ。
The douche!
逃がすか。
Oh. They have a different version of productions expert now. The douche! Hold on tight, Commander. I'm going to step on the gas. Oh, wait. So we assume we are in a Humvee? Don't worry, douche. I will still bring you, though. For immersion. But boy, Mastina, I want you to end the battle. I only care about the story. Marionette melee. Yeah, basically reuse asset.
エンジン起動。逃げられると。
期待はするなよ。
The douche. Also, the douche is actually on her normal
ご
self.
命令を。
Get out of here. I don't like you.
さっさと倒れたらどうだ。
Following Helen's command, more and more dolls from the community gather around and surround us, with many of them being familiar faces. Like puppets on strings, they slowly advance under Helen's orders with their hollow eyes. Neither Duchebonnet nor I can get through to them.
ミランダ殿、シーナ殿、ロッタまで、一体どうなっているのだ。
みんな操られている。ウルリドとヘレンまで。
狩猟殿にヘレン殿、これは何か邪悪な呪いなのか。
まだわからないわ。
この後に及んでおしゃべりする暇があるの？
Catching us off guard, Helen suddenly emerges out of nowhere and strikes Duchebonnet with her elbow, knocking her to the ground.
ルシェーブネイ。
I tried to reach for her, only for a shining blade to stop me in my tracks, so close that I can feel its chilling edge against my throat.
指揮官、下手に動かない方がいい。首を切られては打ち合わせもできなくなる。指揮官。
Duchebene lifts her head with difficulty, yet that act makes Helen, who had been ignoring her, pause her step.
ドゥシェーブヌー、確かあんたもコミュニティの大事な戦力だったわね。ランペティエとの戦闘でそこそこ活躍したらしいじゃない。こんなやつを見落とすなんて。
Helen says as she walks toward Duchebene. Across her back, streaks of electrical signals flicker and shuffle, disappearing between her shoulder blades. The strange pattern stirs an ominous feeling within me. Combined with what she just said, she planning to do the same to Duchebene.
おとなしくした方がいい。
As if having perceived my realization, Ulrid lifts her blade in warning. But in the very next instant, Helen suddenly freezes as if someone has hit the pause button, before her whole body starts trembling violently.
こんな時に拒絶反応？
Behind me, Ulrid collapses to her knees, clutching her face in pain. Without a command to follow, the rest of the dolls just stand there blankly.
人間の指揮官。
Helen reaches out both her hands at me. While my instinct prompts me to dodge out of the way, I remain in place, letting her hold onto my shoulders and slowly sink to her knees.
指揮官。
大丈夫よ。
I reassure Duchebene, because I can tell this Helen has no intent to harm me. Although her gaze is filled with pain, it has become more resolved and gentle than before.
指揮官、時間がない。ほとんどの人形がクロちゃんに感染されてる。ヘレンさんも。
クロちゃん？クロちゃんって誰のこと？
クロちゃんはどんな素体にも適応できるから、発電所のどの設備にも入ることができる。だからみんなクロちゃんの簡易メンタルに感染されて。
Helen's grip tightens, but I'm too focused on processing her words to feel the pain.
どうすればみんなを元に戻せるの？
サーバールームに。指揮官、クロちゃんを許して。
Helen collapses again. Black circuit-like patterns wreath beneath her skin like parasites, flickering and twisting.
人間のためにここまでするなんて。
Helen's gaze is once again filled with wrath, though traces of clarity remain among the chaos.
指揮官、逃げて。ドゥシェーブヌイさんも。わかった。
Duchebene snaps out of her gazing and quickly grabs my hand.
指揮官、避難通路に行くぞ。あそこなら秋からも逃れることができよう。
She pulls me up and we rush toward the reinforced emergency corridor. Behind us, Helen encroaches like a broken animatronic. It's clear that she's fighting against the other consciousness inside her body with every step.
指揮官、こっちだ。封印。
We hurry into the emergency corridor as Duchebene hits the gate control. As the blast door lowers, Helen's silhouette gradually vanishes from view, but her voice still slips through the narrowing gap and reaches my ears.
指揮官やっ